Hey, it's the day after, the 2 days after Daytona. It's the post-Daytona show. I got Mike Herp Collectors, Matt from Ebony Ivory Reptiles, Bob Vu. What more insider crew do we need to talk about Daytona tonight? Bob's going to tell us about his show coming up as well. Stick around. We got some killer content for you tonight. What's up, everybody? I hope you're still alive, awake. I hope you've got a little bit of sleep. Maybe you're caught up on your chores and feeding, or you've explained to your boss why you couldn't make it to work on Monday because you were still in Daytona mode. Man, I missed it. I got to see all the pictures. How cool, man. I'll be there next year. It's the first year I've been there in, I don't know, a few years, 3-4 years anyway. So, but tonight we got a good recap show. Mike was podcasting live from the show. I know that he and Matt were doing some work together. So, you know, they're going to have the inside scoop. Like, we might not be able to name all the names, but they're going to have some inside information on things. And then we'll hear from Bob Vu himself. You know, I don't know if you guys know, but Bob's got quite a few tables and he's got a good pulse of what's going on in the market. So all those guys will be on in just a moment. I got just a couple announcements and I know that you all are looking forward to seeing our guests tonight. First off, speaking of our guests, if any of y'all are here because you saw Mike or Matt or Bob's story or anybody else's story and you haven't checked it out before, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. It's been a wonderful community and experience building this space with the whole audience. Otherwise, it's just me yelling into a microphone. So I want to tell y'all thank you. If you enjoy it, do the like, the subscribe, all that. Every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock East Coast time. This weekend, coming up Sunday, I'll be in Des Moines, Iowa, vending at the Cold Blooded Expo show. It's a good show there in Iowa, and Des Moines is a nice city. I've been enjoying hanging out in Des Moines. I actually got a little place to crash this time, so I don't have to do the drive down and the drive back in the same day. So that's the last show that I'll be vending until October. Speaking of vending, big thanks to Ed and Emily for the Snake Discovery show that ended this past Sunday over in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Good, solid show, man. I always do well at their shows. If you get a chance, go check them out or go vend at them. Big surprise. Ed and Emily know what they're doing. It's a really well-run operation and they're great people. So check that out. Massive congrats to Jeremy Bod and Steve Casino on that bike that they made. If you weren't following it or you're not in like the psycho Instagram circles of reptiles and ball pythons, they what would you call it? Restored an old BMX bike from maybe even the late 70s, but certainly the 80s, and totally decked it out in USARK colors, USARK stickers. Had it powder coated, had it clear coated. The stickers were all under the clear coat. Had it decked out with the actual like gear, like the rotator for the brakes, the sweet pegs, the everything, the wheels on it. Totally cool bike. $20,000 they raised for USARK. That's super cool. Jeremy, I think there's like 3 years now he's been involved with like the biggest or one of the highest auction items. I mean, the guy himself is responsible now for some probably 50 grand at least that's been raised to benefit USARK. That helps all of us. So super cool. I'm thankful for Jeremy and Steve's work on that. And I regret that I wasn't there, but I have a feeling we'll see that bike again one day. Maybe not though. Maybe for 20 grand, I don't know if I'd get that bike back or not. We'll see. The guitar that I built and that Jeremy Bod got all the signatures and the historical signatures on, that was auctioned off again this year. I think Jesse at Freedom Breeder had it, redonated it, and it got several $1,000s again. I don't know who ended up buying the guitar. If anybody else out there knows who got that guitar, I'd love to know. I'd love to just reach out to them. And I kind of like, it's a really special instrument to me. I played and toured with that guitar for a long time. So I like to keep up with where it's at. And I don't want it back. I'm not, I'm happy for it to go to a happy home, but I love to just keep up with where it's at. So if anybody knows, let me know what's up with that guitar. Otherwise, I will be in, I got to get these dates right. I will be in Denver with Redline Shipping at the All-American Plant, Reptile and Plant Expo in Denver. That's the weekend of September 6th. So I'll be out there podcasting live, doing interviews live. I'll get some content for later videos, all that kind of stuff. Come check it out if you're in Denver. It's a fantastic show. Troy and Nick have really done a nice job on that stuff. The 14th and 15th, I will not be there. 14th and 15th is the Southeast Reptile Expo. That's put on by Bob. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. And then the following week up in Charlotte is the East Coast version of the All-American Plant Reptile and Plant Expo. Tonight, let's get Bob on. He needs no introduction, so I will save the long intro. Thanks so much for being here. Please welcome back to the Proper Royal stage, Bob Vu. Bob, how you doing, man?
Just throw it out there that Michael Cabrera, I think, from Snakes at Sunset, ended up with a guitar.
Oh, did he? Oh, cool. All right. Thank you. I should have just asked, right? So Bob, did you get any sleep yet, man? You're here. And, I know not only did you work hard, if I know you probably played a little bit this weekend too, huh?
Yeah, we have a good time out there. I mean, Daytona is one of my favorite shows because it's at the beach. I bring all my guys out there, and this year is my first year I didn't book at the Hilton. I ended up booking the hotel next door. I got a 3-bedroom condo for all of my guys.
Oh.
And my wife was with us, and we went to the Hilton and hung out for a little bit. I said I'd only be there for like maybe 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah,
and then
right.
It's like 1:30. We're at the bar at 1:30, kind of.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's not dig too much into Daytona. We'll wait for the other guys to come on for that.
Yeah.
We did an episode, 2-3 months ago? You got a show coming up that you're the promoter of. It's, I would call it a national scale show. Certainly the venue is that, and the attention you're getting. Tell us about the show if anybody's missed it or didn't catch that episode.
So the show is in Atlanta. It's called the Southeast Reptile Expo, September 14th and 15th. It's definitely getting the feel of like a national show, but we are a new promoter, or it is my first show. We haven't even had a show yet. But we are calling in all favors and learning along the way from, other promoters and just from our mistakes on ways to advertise and promote and get the right vendors, to come in. If you're looking at our vendor list alone, between Canova, JMG, Del Bono from Da Vinci Boas, basically, like, if you're if I feel like, and if you're my friend that I can call in the favor for, if you're the top of your craft, I feel like I have extended an invite to try to get you. Our friends from Flawless Crested, some of the people I feel like are at the top of their game. We're going to try to get them so that they can bring in their fans and the excitement a little bit, especially for guys like JMG, who never been south. He's mostly does the northern shows. With Canova, he only vends Tinley. With Del Bono, I think he's only been 2 or 3 shows in the last year. So this is like a chance for some people, like their fans, especially locally, to come and see them. I'll see their animals and, just get a chance to meet some of these breeders.
I think that's pretty cool. And I think, look, we got into it last time, so I don't want to get into it again tonight, but it's a really well curated list of vendors. Some people might get a little touchy about, oh, I didn't get a shot or whatever. But at the end of the day, the customers are going to have an incredible experience there. And I think your vendors will too. You're going to attract the people that want to see those vendors too. So hopefully, I hope the vendors do well at your show. We talked about it earlier, but share again. So it's the 14th, 15th, Saturday, Sunday. Any Friday night festivities? You got anything going on Friday night up there?
I'll be honest. If I wasn't the one running the show, I would probably have like an after party on Friday, then another after party on Saturday. um because I feel like I'm gonna be so stretched so thin for the show. I didn't do that this time, but we will try to probably book out a restaurant or something to try to get all the vendors together on Saturday night after the show. I was actually contemplating about getting a tent behind my house. I have a huge area back there. I was gonna get a tent put in, and then get tables and chairs and maybe host like 50-60 people. But then there's so much going on. It is our first show. We have no idea what's going to happen. Maybe for the second show we'll try to book something or plan an event or something for after the show.
Yeah, you got to focus on the show, right? You don't want to worry about your house with 50-60 people. And they're going to bring, it's going to be 120 people, not 50 or 60 is what will happen. Right. Yeah. Oh, don't tell anybody, but here's it. Yeah, don't tell anybody. Yeah, that's what's going to happen, man. All right, so give us the details. Give us the venue, the times, the cost, all of that kind of stuff.
So it's going to be held at the Georgia International Convention Center. It's a beautiful venue. And the reason we chose this venue, or one of the reasons we chose this venue, is because we're only booking half of the venue space available to us. So that down the road, if this was to become a major thing, I do have room to expand. The venue is very classy. It's very nice. It's not like a, fair type deal or stuff like that. It's a really nice, classy venue. The admission price is $20. It is $15 for kids, and I want to say 12 or 15. I have to look to be exactly sure. I want to say it's 15. And then there's also a military and first responder discount, all of that at the door. There is a 2-day pass also. So all of this together, I think is going to make for a really good event. We're advertising a lot locally, and we want this show to not obviously eventually I want this to become a major show people are traveling in for, but we know for our first show or first few shows that won't be happening. Okay, yeah, Daniel corrected me. It is $10 for kids.
$10, even better.
Yeah, $10 for kids. So bring your kids. And we want this for down the road for it to become a show where people will travel in for it, because the vendors make such good money. Bigger vendors and more vendors will want to come and vend our show. But for now, because we're so new, what we're going to do is try to attract as much foot traffic, local foot traffic as we can, so that the vendors have as much of a chance as they can to make money, between signs, billboards, ads, and all that stuff. And we've gotten in most of the local restaurants and pet stores that are advertising for us. So I'm hoping between all of that, we can get a good enough foot traffic to where all of my vendors make money and want us to come back.
Very nice. You don't have to answer this if you don't want. It sounded, in my mind, like a good, insightful question. And I was like, maybe you're being a jerk, Adam. But the reason I ask is because I don't know if you're reinvesting or what. Will you make a penny on this show this year or not? Or is it all going in? I mean, you talk about billboards, the flyers, the radio. It's not cheap.
The goal, obviously, is for me to make money. So at the end of the day, if I make money, like if I'm in it and I made money, the vendors should make money. Because if I made money, that means enough people came through the door.
Right.
I'll be honest right now, a lot of shows I've been to, I've talked to promoters, I've talked to a lot of shows, or some shows actually make more profit before the door even opens. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. There are shows out there where they will make money by the time vendors pay for their tables, and by the time their sponsors pay for everything, they would have already been in the profit. I'll be honest right now, as of this point, once every single vendor has paid their tables, and once we pay for everything, we're about $35,000 to $40,000 in the hole. That's before we pay for security, blah 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 blah. That's just paying for our venue and some advertising. That we don't make any money unless people come through the door, and a lot of them. And gotcha. And it's okay. It's okay. It's our first event. I'm dumping a lot of money into it. I understand. And because we're new, I don't have the name. The show doesn't have the name. The locals don't know about our show. We need to work extra hard. We need to maybe even work twice as hard, 3 times as hard as these other shows that are established.
Right. Hey, thanks for being transparent on that. It wasn't my point to put you on the spot. It was
I'll be honest right now. We're 100% transparent on the show, because I want to be these shows to more be like there shouldn't be anything really truly hidden from vendors or even attendees, realistically, even the business stuff, because what is there to hide? I want to make money. That's the
Yeah,
goal.
you're doing
But
the work, make the money.
while I
Yeah.
make money, my vendors should make money too.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about Daytona. Let me bring on. We got Mike from Herp Collectors. If you guys haven't seen Mike, he hosts a podcast called Clutch Conversations, and we also got Matt from Ebony and Ivory Reptiles. Both of these gentlemen have been on the show like before I even knew what I was doing, and then we've stayed in touch since. And Mike especially has become a real industry colleague that we talk fairly often behind the scenes. Together, they have a new podcast called Double Clutch. We're going to learn about that too. But first, we'll talk about some Daytona. There's Matt. There's Mike. Welcome, gentlemen. How you guys been?
What's up? What's up?
What's up? What's up, everybody?
So everybody knows Matt and Mike took this spot on like 2 nights notice because I thought I was busy. These guys have been real busy. And so Matt's got to get off to the kiddos football practice, which is a great thing. So that's why you're in the car, not because you don't take things seriously, because you're kind enough to fit everything in is how I see it. So, Mike, tell us about, well, first, let's talk about Daytona while we got everybody together. I know Bob's going to step out in a little bit, but Mike, what did you see at Daytona? What was the feel of the room? What was the excitement? Because you weren't vending, right? You were watching and you were interviewing everybody.
Yeah, so I wasn't technically vending, but I was set up at a booth. We were over there in the second room. This year, it looked like it was pretty good foot traffic. I heard that feedback from a lot of people, and even the second room. I was a little hesitant about being in the second room at first because they opened up that second room about 2 or 3 years ago, and the foot traffic in that room wasn't the greatest. But this year, that wasn't the case. It was a bunch of foot traffic in that room, and so it was a pretty good thing, and so I was excited about it. I was at my table a lot just because it was the first time that we had done like a kind of live on the spot podcast from a reptile show, and so I spent a significant amount of my time at the table, but I did get a chance to get around.
We're gonna talk about that. There's more to it. Like everybody thinks that you just stroll in with a microphone and a computer and boom, you're off and running. I've learned that one too, man. Yeah. Hey Matt, what did you see? You were out and about, working the rooms. What was the excitement like out there? Whoop, there you go, Matt.
It was good, man. I did like it. Okay, you hear me? Okay. Yep. It was good. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of people there, and I think the way it was set up, I like the big owls that part was different from Tinley because this was the second. Well, no, I've been to Pomona too, so that show was pretty big. But the big owls that they had made it a lot more spacious, so I kind of like that. There where you're not walking all over people, but the flow was good. There was a lot of people in and out of there. It looked good. There was a lot of great presentations that I enjoyed watching and seeing as a vendor myself and trying to take notes from people like the Bobs and Joshes of the world, and you know what I'm saying, just taking down notes on what it is they had, how their displays were set up, and then displays that I thought were not as good. So, but it comes and goes.
What'd you see? That's a good point. People's display and how they stand out. I mean, let's be honest, how many different, there's ball pythons like you were, I know there's other reptiles that are there, but there's thousands of ball pythons. So what were a couple of the very best booths that you saw and that stuck out in your mind? Matt, what were some of the best booths you saw that stuck out in your mind?
That last part again. I'm sorry, you broke up. Say which part stuck out to me?
What were some of your favorite booths that you saw? All right, we lost Matt for a minute. Bob, on your end, man, you're selling. You're the guy in the, doing your thing, running your business there. And I know you both visited Daytona many times and vended many times. What's your feeling, man? What was the overall feel from a vendor standpoint?
From a vendor standpoint, the show was busy, especially on Saturday. I think we got there at right when we got there about 15 minutes before open. We do that every year. Wayne is a stickler for the time, like at 9 o'clock. It is 9 o'clock. He will let you in. You get there at 8:55. You're standing outside waiting, but I come early every year. There's a huge line that was already formed when we got there. It was very busy right from the open on Saturday. I think by 12 o'clock, I want to say there's got to be at least 4,000 or 5,000 people through the door. The show was great. Oh yeah, I did swing by. So I made my rounds around the show on Sunday, especially mostly because it was a little slower. So being a national expo, being in Daytona, people at vendors have to understand that most of your attendees are going to be on Saturday because everyone flew in on Friday. They're going to come to the show on Saturday, see what they're going to see, and buy what they're going to buy. The majority of them are leaving on Sunday and flying out. So Sunday pretty much I'll be honest, Sunday was dead. The show was pretty much dead on Sunday. I did close some sales on Sunday, here and there, but the majority of your foot traffic and sales happen on Saturday because being a national show. The same thing happens in Tinley. Honestly, 2 o'clock in Tinley on a Sunday, it's dead because most of the people are already having to go catch a flight and all that. So you need to do all your work on Saturday between open and 3-4 o'clock. You need to close all your sales because that's when everyone's excited. They had just came in from wherever they are. But on Sunday it was pretty dead.
Yeah, from vending Daytona and Tinley. That's a really good point. Like they're 2-day shows or 3-day with the VIP, but yeah, Saturday is the action, man. You're made or broken on Saturday usually. What was the it's probably not anything different than what you get daily inquiries on, but what was kind of the hot genes this year? What did you hear the most people after? Anything new this year that stand out or what?
Yeah, so when I got set up, I was pretty excited, right? I had all my Desert Ghost stuff in one section, all my clowns, pites. We kind of do it by genetics. And then I realized about three tables down from me is Fireball. And, Fireball, the bells, they originated Desert Ghost. So in my mind, I'm not selling a Desert Ghost all weekend, pretty much. I sold one Desert Ghost all weekend.
Wow.
And I had like 40. The hot gene for me that sold throughout the weekend was actually my black lace clown stuff. I had a lot of people inquire about it. We sold a few of them, and just random clown combos. We sold quite a few, and the number one inquiry from me that people asked about was lace clowns and puzzle stuff, which I redirected to Josh or Barry. Those are my two puzzle guys. So they had pretty much all the puzzles at the show.
Yeah. On you said random clown combos, in these circles, our shows, we'll talk about double visuals, or you got to be working towards doubles and triples. When you say random clown combos, do you think that the typical buyer is thinking that they have to have, future double and triples, or they still are amazed by how cool, clown combos are on their own?
Not quite yet, right? Even in the double recessive stuff, in my opinion, I think we had this discussion the other day. I had it with Dave and Chad and them. You can treat chocolate or GHI or something like that. Realistically, you can treat it like a recessive. Recessive has now become a codom now that we have genetic testing. Yeah. A het is nothing more than being a single gene version of something now that we know it's there or not with genetic testing. So you're buying a chocolate clown is basically buying a clown het for super chocolates because a super chocolate clown is amazing. That could eventually become the double recessive base. GHI, super GHI clown. You're talking about stranger, super stranger, red stripe, super red stripe clowns. Where genetic testing is going to come in, and it has ruined our industry. Genetic testing has ruined our industry, and I wish it would just go away, so that the pairings can become so much simpler, and we can take so much longer to work on these projects and hold back pets and all the disappointments of cutting eggs.
Hey, double het males would be worth something again. That's all I want. I just want my money back for my double het males. That's all I want, man.
Yeah, genetic testing has ruined the industry.
Just crashed everything, man. Those of y'all that might only be listening on audio, Charlie at Gray Rider, Charlie's making visual comments, and Bob is responding vocally. So anyhow, there we go. You're going to have to come watch the show to figure that. I'm not going to go back and translate all of that. Yeah, I think, Bob, I think we had even talked about it. Yeah, that's kind of my thing with super gravel. I'm like, I'm going to make super gravel my project that I can make flow through everything. And like you say, it's one copy or two copies. That's all. And we just know what it is now, which is pretty nice. Mike, you talked to a whole lot of people. Was the feeling of vendors similar to what you're hearing from Bob, or is Bob getting the special Bob treatment? What'd you hear from the show?
So, in talking to like a bunch of people, I got kind of some diverse feedback in terms of like what they had success with at the show and whether or not they had like a lot of business and stuff. By and large, I would say overall, most people said they either did okay or they did really well. Going back to like specific projects, I did hear people say that lots of people were asking for puzzle, and also lots of people were asking for paint as well.
Yeah. And Bob, you said you didn't work with puzzle. Do you do any with paint?
I have very few puzzles. I own like 4 puzzle animals. I have one paint animal, and I actually used her to make triple hets. So now I have a fleet of triple het paint DG Azanthic animals. And
okay,
with my puzzle, I also made triple het DG Azanthic puzzle animals. And then I did me and my buddy Ethan, we bought a yellow belly hypo puzzle het pied breeder male. Oh, now it's a breeder male. So we'll be using him a little bit.
Wow. Not to get too deep down this hole of puzzle, what does puzzle and pied do? I felt like pied would kind of run over puzzle, but I haven't looked. I didn't even.
Barry Swopes had some puzzle pied hypo puzzle pied combos at the show, and they were pretty phenomenal. I'll be honest, they were pretty phenomenal. It did widen, so the regular eye stripe on a regular puzzle now just think 3 times wider, or and it's just like half the face is an eye stripe. And the pattern overall is a little bit different, but also he had Enchi and a few other genes in there that might have diluted out. I kind of do want to see a puzzle pied on its own. But yeah, I do like the project.
Okay. All right. Well, I might have to I just by total coincidence, I had a package of 7 animals arrive today, most of which were hypo puzzle project stuff. So
nice.
I've been, when you first get, and some of them are breeders, when you first get this new stuff in, you're like running through all the possible combinations of like, what should I breed? And it's that time of year too. I got to start planning on what this winter is going to hold for breeding. Matt, I don't know if you can you hear me, Matt? All right, cool. What was all right, what were some of your favorite booths that you saw? You talked about seeing some cool stuff. What'd you see? What were some of your favorite booths that you saw that stuck out to you?
Oh man, right off the top, like I said, Bob's and Josh's booth, Savage Morse and Hardwired Exotics booth was crazy nice. Of course, Mike Herp Collectors podcast booth was crazy.
Pretty solid. That was all right.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like I said, there were some good ones out there. There definitely were some good ones. Rice Reptiles booth was nice.
Yeah.
Their presentation was nice. And I just, the reason I was saying that. Oh, man.
What's that, Bob?
Well,
no, don't save me the headache. I got enough headache in my life. I don't need to know the bad ones, man. We're good.
Well, yeah, no. And well, the reason I said that is because, like, as I've gotten into vending over the last year or whatnot, being able to do a couple shows and upgrade, like, I feel like since I started, I mean, my first show, I started with like a roll-up thing in the back of me that wasn't big at all, But every show that I made money, I just reinvested it right back into show stuff so that my presentation was good. But at that point, I was in Bob and Josh's Patreon, and they would talk about show stuff and all that kind of stuff, and your presentation being on point. And I'm telling you, as a consumer, while I was at that show, if I even saw a table that had deli cups, if I saw a table that had a fish net around it, if I saw a table that didn't have presentation that looked A1, I just kept walking. I don't care who your name was. It just, as a consumer, you just keep walking. It's like I've been there, done that. I've seen, like, I don't want to see what you have at that table. because everybody else is out there shining.
Yeah, I know. Well, kind of like you're talking about, Matt. I still use the roll-ups, but I have a few of them now, and they're bigger, and I can arch them around the back of me, so I can have a 1-table display or a 4-table display. But yeah, I do think it makes it. I think you got to have a professional, clean look. I don't think it has to go totally overboard, but scattered, flat leveled deli cups, they're not as exciting. I'm not crapping on. I mean, if you got to get out there and do your thing and make some money, but I think what you talked about reinvesting is important. Like, it's one thing to start there and get a little bit of cash flow if you don't have it, or you're not prepared to, go into debt to buy $500 displays. But at some point, I do think it sets you apart, And as you're selling $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 animals, then it makes more sense. You can buy a couple displays at that point.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Gotcha. Bob, you gonna hang out tonight? You want to stick around? You gonna head out of here? What's our what you got going on?
I'll be on in the chats. I gotta go make dinner actually.
Okay. Bob, thanks for coming on. I always appreciate you coming by. You're always good to me, man. I wish I could make your show this year. Are you where's your gut? Where's your heart right now? You gonna do 2 in a year, or are you only gonna do 1 a year? Or are you gonna do no more? Is this a one-shot deal?
That's it. I'm done. One shot. I'm gonna lose some money and I'm done. No, I'm kidding. The goal is that we're gonna let the vendors decide. Actually, on Sunday, we'll let the vendors decide. If they want us back, we'll come back. If they want us back once a year, we'll come back once a year. If it's twice, then we'll have to look at the numbers. I have a number in mind of how many people need to come through the door. I feel like if we don't have enough people through the door, even if vendors made decent money, it's not worth it. They can do it once a year. If it's past that number, we can possibly look at it twice a year. And if the vendors say, hey, don't ever do this again, we'll never look at. I'll just throw away all the merch, and all the banners.
All right, Bob, we wish you the very best, man. You, like I say, really supported my show, and it means a lot to me to have you here. I wish you the best. I wish I could make it. I cannot make it this year. There are lots of shows, but I promise I will get there one day, and I hope that you have many, many more in the future, man.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Matt.
All right,
guys.
See you soon, Bob.
Yep, I'll be in the chats.
Cool. Thank you, man.
Yep.
I see I've started a deli cup war in the chat. So maybe that'll be a topic for the next show. I guess what I should say is, first, I don't like the security of deli cups. Whenever I see a snake get stolen, except for that one snake, all the others seem to be stolen in deli cups. There was that one snake, that was the inside job. But so that always worried me. And then, just the presentation myself. There's a guy that I do vend with a lot, Rick. Rick swears, and now he vends crested geckos, Creative Coralophus. He swears that people like being able to hold the animal, look at it, look around without having to take it out and actually handle it. And he does well. So maybe there's more to it, but I'm with you. I like my ARS displays for a number of reasons, but those types of displays I prefer. So, Matt, I know you got a coach before long. Guys, tell us about your Double Clutch podcast. How's it going? Why is it going? Why are you doing it? What is it? Take the floor for a minute. Tell people about it.
You want to jump it off, bro? No, you got limited time.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you want to jump it off? I know you got limited time.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So yeah, why we started and why we getting into a Double Clutch is we really, I always tell people, the song says it all. We just want to refine things in the hobby. So we like to just take topics and deep dive into them. We started it simply because, there's lots of podcasts out there that do interview type podcasts, and they get people on, show off their collections and this, that, and the other. But we wanted to do something that was more on the educational side, as far as answering those serious questions that people have and those worries and things that people have in the hobby on how to progress and how to develop themselves in the hobby, not just in the ball python side of things. We talked about, things like Nido. We talked about even just as far as top 10 attributes of being a breeder. So we just want to educate people on those things and our experience in it and our young careers that we're having so far in the community. And we thought that, putting it out there on the podcast was the best way to do it. So
I think
Yeah.
that's.
So
Go ahead, Mike.
no, I was gonna say, and then it was a natural fit too, right? Me and Matt, we've been kicking it for pretty much the whole time that I've been in the hobby, right? We met back in probably late 2020, early 2021, and so we've been riding strong ever since then. So it was already a natural fit. We know each other, we work well together, and so it just made sense. And then on top of that, it was kind of a way for us to refine several of our skills as well, because doing these deep dives on topics requires some prep work, right? And so just kind of thinking through coming up with the topic, but then not only coming up with the topic, what are your talking points? What are you trying to cover? What are you trying to accomplish? How are you going to progress through that from a logistical standpoint? And so that takes some prep work that really kind of sharpens skills for you as well.
Yeah, I think what's there's the business philosophy, skill stacking. We all learn a little bit and then we all put it into play, and then we advance, and then we learn, and then we put it into play. And I think it's funny what I'm finding that overlaps, even in my world of hospitality consulting. I've started to use some of the AI tools that I use to activate SEO. So people, and I'm sure people are maybe they think one way or another about AI, but it's a great tool that's out there. And what better way to learn how to talk to Google than use a machine that already talks to Google? I can't talk to Google, but maybe this machine can, and it'll help me. And the time will tell whether that works or not. But now I'm from doing that and doing research on AI, I'm able to apply it in my other profession. And so, yeah, I think, and just learning how to talk to people and present publicly and blah, 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 all those things that add together and do really well. I also want to say,
I hate AI.
Do you?
I'm kidding.
I know you are. I was like, wait a minute, this is new. We're gonna get into that.
He's the AI guy.
Let's talk about that for a second. But I wanted to say something because you guys have been there the same amount or around the same time that I have, and I know Mike and I started similar podcast time, and Matt, you were breeding and making massive investments. And I know people have told all three of us, you're not going to make it. You won't see it in a few years. And I say it in a grateful way, not in a rude way to anybody, but here we all are still. And here we are tonight hanging out, talking about Daytona, and there's an audience that tuned in. Bob Vu was kicking it with us. It's a cool feeling to look back from like you say, the one roll up post on my little table, or, my cell phone YouTube videos to, anyhow, I'm appreciative, and the audience is a massive part of that as well. But congratulations, guys. I know that you all worked at it and saw it through for sure. So we'll do it. We'll be here in another 5 years after this first 5 years.
Big fast. We're just getting started, man.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What have you seen about, Mike, you particularly, man? What have you seen about this wave of podcasts? When you and I jumped in, we both saw sort of a educational structured format, and we started independently. We didn't talk about it at the times we were starting, but we realized we were on a similar path. Obviously, it's done well for you, but I see a whole lot more of those out there nowadays too. What's your thought on podcasts? Do you think it'll continue to expand, or it's the way of the future, or is it going to fall off? What do you think is going to happen with that sort of platform of content?
Yeah, I like seeing everybody getting out there and kind of getting out their shell, because I realize what it's like to go through that process. I know for me, I'm more of a naturally introverted person, and so for me to put myself out there in the public eye and do something like a podcast, that was a major step. And I just decided to, go ahead and do it and just get better as you go, kind of build the airplane as you fly it type thing. And so I like that aspect of it, that people are getting out there, putting themselves out there. It's a way to get your name out there. It's a way to network. It's a way to connect with people who have similar interests. And it's a way to grow yourself in so many ways, because as you know, it's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes before we get to this panel here where people are just listening to us say things. And so there's a number of skills that you're developing and strengthening and sharpening and all that good stuff as part of like the whole podcast experience. So I think overall it's a good thing. As far as will it continue? I hope so. I do want to see like some new stuff, some different kind of like takes on it, and like creative
Right.
things. And I know we've got some things in the works, but I want to continue. I want to see people continue to kind of push the envelope, because I really want to see like where this whole kind of reptile content genre goes over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And we can look back 5, 10, 15, 20 years and talk about conversations like these and kind of when we started and how much things have changed. So I'm really looking forward to like how the projects will develop over the years.
Yeah. What on that mindset, do you have anything? Well, I think you said you had a little bit cooking, but anything you could share, or anything that, or like, what's your thought process when you go looking for a way to, I mean, because it's about differentiation and bringing something to the table, right? And I mean, I think everybody realizes you and I, we're in some ways we're competitors. I think of ourselves as colleagues, but you know, there's only so many hours that an audience can watch our content.
Yeah. So as far as like some things that we got cooking, there's a number of things that we got cooking. You want to talk about the Patreon? Yeah, so we're getting ready to roll out Double Clutch Patreon, where we're gonna have content, and there'll be 4 tiers to it, and the initials for Double Clutch are DC.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of ran with like DC themed comments, like from, I mean not comments but tiers from the DC comments. And so like the first one is
nice.
the first one is the Joker, the second one is the Flash, and then there's the Wonder Woman tier, and then the top tier is obviously the Superman tier. And
Yeah,
so
man.
we're gonna have various offerings through our Patreon, and we're going to roll that out on September 1st is when we're going to go live with it. But we're going to start talking about it and promoting it over the next couple of weeks to kind of get some interest going in that. I think it's going to be a really fun time. We're going to have some exclusive content that we include in the Patreon. We're going to have some like dedicated like meeting times for folks where we like deep dive on specific topics. We've got like a laundry list of tiers, of benefits for the respective tiers. And the plan is to continue to grow on that and add more things. Because at the end of the day, it's not just a money grab for us. It's not a money grab at all. We want to provide value, because if someone believes in us enough to say, hey, we're going to give you some of our hard-earned money to be in your Patreon, we want to make sure that we are reciprocating that energy and providing the value that we say we're going to provide. And we want you to walk away and say, well, damn, I love being in their Patreon. I like being in their Patreon. We want to stick and be in their Patreon. So really looking forward to that. Like I said, we'll have more details coming out over the next couple of weeks, and we're just going to continue to talk about it and promote it. But I'll let Matt jump in as well to see if he has something he wants to add.
Yeah, no, I think you covered, the basis of it. We're excited about it, man. I'm excited. And we were even talking this past weekend while we were together. And I'm trying right now, my heart is torn because I love my YouTube channel. But I'm like, hey, if we're going to have a Patreon, like I got to figure out how to, I don't want to rob Peter to pay Paul, but I definitely don't want to rob Paul. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
So it's trying to figure out that balance, because if, like Mike said, if people are going to sign up for this, I want them to get 100% of me. Everything that I got, that's going to go into that for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. And first, let me say thanks to Kane. That's Keeper Kane. Speaking of Patreon members, he is in the Proper Royals Patreon. Thanks so much, Kane. I appreciate you guys. Kane is working on building his own Instagram channel and YouTube channel. So,
Nice.
if you want to have a little community support here, doesn't cost you a penny, go check them out for me. All right. Kane, thanks so much, man. That was super kind of you, man. Man, Mike, you could talk about, I don't even know how to get that. What do I do here? Well, it's going to stick up there because I don't see the remove comment. Oh, there we go. Okay. Man, when you're trying to be producer and showrunner and the host at the same time, man, it adds up. But so a couple thoughts on Patreon. I've started, and I've only scratched the surface. I'll be the first to admit that there is just a land of opportunity in Patreon. I see like You talk about evolution. I see like these podcasts on YouTube is like the old like broadcast NBC, ABC channels, and then Patreon's like the cable TV where like you pay for your channels and you get like it's a little bit of the Wild West in the opportunity of Patreon. And I think Matt was talking about it a little bit about it as well. I was trying to figure out where to apply sort of your creative juices, your physical energy. There's only so many hours in the day. And behind it all, I know we all got collections that we care unbelievably about. But I think that the opportunity for creativity within a Patreon space is like a turbo podcast, man. It's like the depth and the nuance of a podcast just turned up to 100, and it's more, Absolutely. It's even more participatory for the members. And sorry, the second point I'm getting to, somebody asked me the other day, they called me after the show. I'd met them, their customer, and they're great. And I mean, nobody even has to be a customer to ask. I'll help anybody I can. But he calls me, and he might even be watching, and that's okay. But he says, do you think I'm on the right path? And I said, well, I don't know enough about you. I don't know enough about what your goals are. I don't know enough about your interests in your collection. And it's hard for one person to dive in and really get to know somebody else. And that takes time. But if you dive into a Patreon where there's 40, 50 people in a chat, I guarantee you somebody's going to know about the genes you're working with. Somebody's going to have been through what you're going through. Somebody's going to be asking you for help, and you're going to be building your own brand. For as cheap as some of these Patreons, mine specifically, you can get in full access for $7 a month. Like, that's the best investment somebody could make. I mean, it even hit me in the head the other day. I was like, why in the world wouldn't I pay the $5 or $8 to join a few other Patreons just to have my name in the mix constantly? So anyhow, I think it's a tremendous investment. Do either, and I should know this, I apologize. Do either of y'all have your own Patreon already, or will this be your first jump into the Patreon world?
This will be both of our first jump into like having a Patreon that is like our Patreon. Both of us have been in several Patreons, but this will be like our first time on the other side of the table.
Man, I got to talk to you in 6 months and get your experiences and see what it's like there.
Oh, so, yeah, we'll definitely be connected, man. Always good having conversation and comparing notes.
Definitely. Hey, Matt, before you get off to coaching tonight, what do you talked about going to? You talked about going to Pomona, and you just came from Daytona. What do you see between the big like East Coast, West Coast shows? Is there different styles? Like what's hip in one place, or even jeans? Are there projects that are more common on the West Coast versus East? What do you see?
I think that the hit jeans are the same. Whatever's flowing in the hobby is going to be flowing nationwide, but it is a different swag, not swag, but different style. I'm trying to get out the sun. There we go. Different, just a different feeling. West Coast people are a lot different from the East Coast. It's a whole different environment, a different vibe, but it is, it's still all the same. It's still all the same people, the same community. You got some guys that are here on the West Coast that are big on the West Coast, like Miguel. He'll be at the West Coast shows, but then you go to the East Coast and you see the big guys that are on the East Coast. So you get those different vibes and you get to meet all those cool people and whatnot. But all in all, the reptile shows are the shows, those big shows. They're hot. It's a bunch of stanky people walking around.
Oh, I walked into the room this weekend. Not even Daytona, this little show. I went to the bathroom and I walked back in. I was like, oh my God, what happened?
I mean, it's like, golly, man, if y'all don't put some deodorant on. But yeah, other than that, man, it's all the same.
All right. Well, Matt, I'm going to let you go, man. Thank you. It's always good to catch up. You feel free to hang out if you got time, but I know that you've probably got the game to get to. So whatever works, man.
I got to run over here, but man, it's an honor, man. I'm humbled to be on here with you guys, man, and Bob as well. So shout out to all y'all, man. Keep grinding, and we'll link back up for sure.
Hey, most definitely, and same to you. I'm humbled by having you, bro. Yeah, I always appreciate you. And hey, guys, check out Matt on his 15 Minutes of Lame episode. That whole we're almost there. We're coming up on fall, man. It's not far before everybody's gonna have to pick some sides.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun. All right, man. You have a good one.
Best of luck,
right.
Matt. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Later.
So Mike, and then there was our sponsors are back. Everything's back in order and balance. The audio's clean. And that's not a shot at anybody. We joke. The last conversation Mike and I had was about audio at the setup for Daytona. So Mike, tell the audience your experience of the setup. What'd you learn that you didn't know? What'd you run into? Like, it's not that I know from what I've run into, but this is about me learning. I got to go to Denver in 2 weeks and broadcast from there. And, there's always something, man. So tell us about your experience. What'd you put into it, and what'd you get out of it? What'd you like?
Yeah, so there's definitely always something, and we went through a bit of that this weekend as well. So I tried my best to plan as many things ahead of time as possible, right? So once I came up with the idea, I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to doing it, come up with a schedule, kind of come up with an overall plan for how to do it, right? And so obviously one of the first things kind of on that checklist is making sure that you've got like all of your equipment, right? Your audio and your video equipment, as well as kind of like the branding, promotional stuff, right? And so like me, spreadsheets are kind of my go-to. And so like I just made this list of like all the things that I wanted, kind of priced it out and said, hey, does this make sense, right? And so once I priced everything out, looking at like what specific equipment I wanted and all that good stuff, then that's when I went through the process of kind of like staging like some of the purchasing of all of that equipment, right? Yeah. And so once I got everything in before the show, ran through some test runs on as many things as I could. We never ran through the full setup all at once, but we ran through like components of it. And what I mean by that is we ran through like the camera and the lighting separately. We ran through like the audio separately. We ran through like the promotional stuff in terms of like banners, stands, and all that, just making sure like all that stuff was good to go, crossing T's, dotting I's, and all that good stuff. Then we packed everything up, had it ready to go. In hindsight, I probably should have left out of Gainesville a little bit earlier, because I had like a lot of last minute things to do on Friday that led to me getting to Daytona at like 3:30. So I didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of stuff on Friday as far as like prep, which bled over into Saturday. Got there early Saturday morning. As Bob said, Wayne's a stickler about letting people in before 9 o'clock. Like, so we were there at like maybe 8:53 or something like that. We scarfed down some breakfast on the way there, and then we booked it, and we were standing at the door for like 6-7 minutes or something like that, just waiting to get in. Then he finally said, all right, VIPs and vendors can come in, which I wish that VIPs and vendors didn't come in at the same time. I had that feedback on my show before, but I didn't appreciate it until going through it, being like, oh crap, everyone's going to be walking around here while I'm still trying to set up.
You're setting up. Yeah. That's the same at Tinley. And it's like 7:30 in the morning. I'm not even awake. And I'm rushing to my table as fast as the customers are, man. I don't know why they do that, but hey, that's all right. I guess when we start our own show, we can we'll know. We'll
understand.
We can fix that problem, right? Hey, let's get really nerdy for a minute. Let me do a couple equipment quick fires with you, because the last time we talked, we were talking through a little bit of the setup. So microphone, what mic did you end up going with for live?
So I went with 2 Shure MV7s.
2 nice ones. Okay, so you got 2 Shures. What'd you do for your audio interface?
A Moto. Yeah.
Moto. I'm not familiar with Moto. I'm gonna have to learn about that. And let's see, I suppose one good deed deserves another. So I use an Audio Technica mic, and I use a Focusrite audio interface, if anybody's into this kind of nerdy stuff here. What else have you, what computer? So you run your mics to the audio interface, you run the audio interface to the computer, the camera's going to the computer. StreamYard does a nice job of mixing it all together for us for a fast version of all of this. What computer do you use to process all of that?
I've got an HP ebook. Yeah.
Does it do well on? I've never used a Windows platform with streaming. It does well for you though.
Yeah, it did well. I didn't have any issues streaming at all, as far as I know. Partly because of having a hotspot. I got like a Netgear hotspot, and I wired into the hotspot because I think I might have mentioned this to you, or maybe I didn't get a chance to mention it to you. I was worried about the internet going in there, and so I was like, I'm going to get a hotspot because ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't trying to rely on that Ocean Center internet. And I did one of those prepaid data plans, right? So you got a finite amount of data. And so I wanted to conserve some of my data. So I tried to log on to StreamYard before the show started using that internet, that Wi-Fi. And it took like 3 or 4 minutes just to log the sign-in page. And I was like, man, I'm not even dealing with this. And so I just turned on the hotspot, and it was just like, boom, it was super quick, no issues. I was worried about using too much data because I didn't know how much this was going to take. But at the end of the day, I had plenty of data. And so I was happy about that.
Yeah. So I don't know how many people remember, or if you don't remember, even better, but me and Steven had cooked up a plan last year to podcast live from the bar in the Hilton, not at the Ocean Center, but over in the Hilton. And credit to Steven. I mean, he brought the whole studio. I mean, I'm talking lights, camera A, camera B. He's like, Adam, when I point you, you look over here. I'm like, oh my gosh, man, I just want to talk reptiles and drink a beer, But credit to him, he did a great job. Got everything set up. We went live, and the internet just wasn't there. And what's the most maddening part about it is we had tested everything. We had tested the internet, and when the Ocean Center lets out and 500 people come into the Hilton and get on the shared network, it just comes straight down. And I was curious about. You said Netgear was the brand that you used? Yeah. I was curious about that. I know Robin, I think he uses Starlink. If I do more of these that way, I'm going to have to, because it's venue to venue. I will say the Denver show, that's the fastest public internet I've ever seen, man. I was flying like 100 megabits per second up, man, which is, I think even here at the house, I think I'm only moving 9 or 10 up here. So, I mean, at 100, I was just like, nice. I was like, man, we ain't going to slow that down. We can go live all day long here. But even in Schaumburg, I just switched to recording content. So did you have a backup plan if it failed? Like, hey, okay, we won't go live, but we'll do recorded content and put those out as episodes? Or did you not let yourself get to that point?
That's what I would have done. Like, I got enough memory cards to where I could have done something like that. I was hoping that didn't happen, obviously, because I wanted to go live. I kind of like the whole live aspect of it, even though I couldn't interact with like the comments and stuff like that as much as I wanted to.
Right.
And kind of in hindsight, maybe that's something I'll add as far as like expanding the team. And speaking of team, man, big shout out to my wife, Takara, because the logistics of that would not have been possible without her, right? Because we had several interviews lined up for both days, right? And so, as you know, the venue's a huge venue. People are all over the place. We had folks that were actually vending, folks that were not vending. And so to logistically make that work, it took like a team effort. And so one of the things that we thought about was, hey, there may be a need to communicate while we're live. And the last thing that we can do is like stop to like answer the phone, like, hey, baby, how's it going? Where are they at? So that's the last thing you could do, right? And so I was like, what can we do? And so I was like, bam, I got it. We'll get walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
And so like we had walkie-talkies. And we even checked when we got there with the team that was working there, like the actual show team. We're like, what channel are y'all on? Okay, y'all are on channel 5. We'll get on channel 3. And so we just stayed on that channel, so we didn't like overlap with them. But the whole time during the show, I had my microphone, not my microphone, but my walkie-talkie earpiece in my left ear, and she was like giving me updates. And so she'd be like, yeah, such and such
nice.
is like 2 minutes away, or such and such is running late. And so by those cues that she was giving me in my ear that no one else could hear, I knew to carry on the conversation a little bit longer, or wrap up the conversation.
Right, yeah, I got to land this plane. Yeah.
Logistically, she was making it work. And I don't ever talk about this without giving her the well-deserved credit that she deserves, or that she needs, that she should get, because it wouldn't have been able to go as smoothly as it did without all the things that she was doing behind the scenes. So big shout out to her for that.
Yeah, that makes all the difference. I mean, I run solo, but the things that you're talking about, somebody shows up 10 minutes early, the other guy's 10 minutes late. And it used to annoy me, but really why their schedules can't be firm is they're there to sell and to make deals.
Exactly.
You know, I remember a very specific time. I was like, man, this guy's big time in me. He's not taking this seriously. His wife actually ran over and said, hey, he'll be here in a second, but he's got a deal he's got to make. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's not about me. It's about, rightly so. They're there to sell. And so that all comes with it as well. And
that was our thought process too. Like going into it, we knew that there was going to be an instance where the schedule didn't align it the way we had it written down on paper.
Yep.
And so that's why we wanted to have that communication.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I think I've had to tailor my style to being solo. So you're always great about a really like just your style, like even your thumbnails. You're really great about your presentation, both in the studio, then in person. Your setup was fantastic. Even the pictures that were like back so they could see all the lights and the cables still looked really cool and was really staged really, really well. Whereas I'm sort of like, all right, let's get into it. This is where I do my work. I literally can roll my desk and put it away and get to work, or I can be, now we're here, we're ready to go. But that's how I travel as well. So I have a mic stand that will fit into a carry-on. Everything goes into one carry-on suitcase. That's it. That goes up top. So the roller thing. And then usually these shows are only 2 or 3 days. So I actually carry my clothes in my backpack. So the roller is the equipment. But everything's got to fit in just one. Now, generally I'm with REDLINE. So I use their backdrop, which saves me that. This microphone, I only use one microphone. It's like a bluegrass band style. You just crowd around the mic and you get down to business and talk, but it has a feel. I actually kind of like it because it does pick up some background noise, and it has this live, like energetic feel to it. And generally people aren't idiots screaming stuff into it, which is, again, to get really nerdy. This is a studio condenser mic, so it's designed to pick up everything. I think I was telling Mike the story. I recorded with it one time, and I'll be damned, I didn't come inside to listen, and there's it was picking up the crickets outside my house when I was playing it. I was like, all right, I guess I got to play in the morning, because I wanted to pick up my acoustic guitar. But anyway, all that goes into it. But yeah, I've had to tailor my style to that stuff. So let's wrap up the podcast portion of it. Did you enjoy it? Will you do it again? Was it, what was kind of your definition of success? So was it worth it? And what made it worth it or not worth it?
Oh yeah, it was definitely, like, without a doubt worth it. I really enjoyed it. Saturday, I'm not going to lie. Like I was a little stressed at first, particularly before the show, A, because it was my first time doing it, and then B, because like there were several things that we had to troubleshoot, and we kind of had to troubleshoot it under the fly. But I mean, you and I, we both worked in restaurants, and we're used to troubleshooting under the fly.
Shot stuff way more important, way more difficult than that. We can't even speak of some of the things we've had to troubleshoot. That's off record, Mike. That's you and me behind the scenes.
And so Saturday, I was exhausted. Like, I was so exhausted. Like, both of us, like, we left there, grabbed a quick bite to eat, but we were going to go back out and hang out, because obviously a big part of Daytona is like hanging out and seeing everybody. And so we got back to the Airbnb, which was an absolute like beach mansion, by the way. Like, we rented it out with like 3 other couples. But lay down for a few minutes, or what was supposed to be a few minutes,
So
and it
next
turned
morning.
into waking up like it was almost 1 a.m. when I woke up. And
Oh
so
man, yeah.
I just put stuff on the charger that needed to be charged for the following day and went right back to bed.
Yeah.
So didn't get to hang out much Saturday night. But Sunday, given that we had kind of gone through kind of all the troubleshooting and all that good stuff, Sunday was a breeze.
Nice.
Like Bob said, it was a little bit slower, but that didn't really impact me because like I had scheduled interviews. But what was slower for me was just going through like that setup process and all that stuff much quicker, because a lot of our equipment and stuff we took back. We didn't want to leave it overnight.
Right.
That was 10 times easier, and it was just like 10 times less stressful as well. Definitely going to do it again. Not gonna lie, it is a lot of work. It takes a good bit of resources, time wise, brain wise, all that good stuff. It does take like resources to pull it off, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm addicted to it. I like it. We're already thinking about like ways to improve things. We're already kind of thinking like what's next and stuff like that, and making some plans and stuff like that. This tour is a 5-show tour.
I was gonna say,
Anyway,
tell us where you're going, where you're gonna be next. What's working, and where can people come see you, man?
Yeah, so next it's the Southeast Reptile Expo. So Bob's show, which you just promoted extremely well, and so in Atlanta. And then the following weekend is in Charlotte at the All-American Reptile and Plant Expo. So Troy and Nick's show. And then in October, we're doing Tinley. And then in March, we're doing Dallas.
Oh,
so
man.
5 shows total.
Excellent. So I'll be picking up the slack. If you could just apply yourself a little bit, I'll pick up the slack in Denver for you. And nice work, man. Nice work. Yeah, I was going to be at the Charlotte one, and then my 2 worlds of work collided. Both, I'm proud, happy, fortunate, lucky to say that they're both my own companies, self-employed, but they were, I had to be either in San Antonio or Charlotte the same weekend, and one paid the bills and the other was marketing. So sometimes you got to take the check, and that's what I did. So yeah, I mean, it's a great problem to have. I'm lucky that's a problem to have. All right, guys, well, check out Mike out on the road. Don't go anywhere. Mike and I are going to dive back into Daytona. We got all techie and podcasty and all of that. Let's pay some bills real quick, guys. Let me tell you about REDLINE shipping. If you're not using REDLINE, you should be. Reptile people experience like you wouldn't believe, innovators in the industry taking care of your animals while they get from place to place. The prices are great. The user interface is simple. And I will personally attest to how good Robin is for this industry as well as his team. Use the promo code PROPER5. You're going to get $5 off your next shipping label. But I think after the experience, you're not going to care about the $5 anymore. It's totally worth it. Mike, you know a little something about Charlie at Gray Rider Reptiles and ShedTesting.com. You want to get in on this one or not?
Oh, yes, sir. The best in the business from a customer service perspective, from turnaround time perspective, and just being an all-around good guy. So definitely visit Charlie, follow him on Instagram at Gray Rider Reptiles, and go check out the website, www.shedtesting.com. He's got a ton of genes he can test for. And like I said, man, he's just an all-around good dude.
He's the guy. He's the one doing the work. He's the one that when he picks up the phone when you call, he's the one that delivers your results to you. And he's going to give you 15% off if you use the promo code PROPER15. I lost track of my code. Yeah, it's right in front of my face. Proper 15 right there. You get 15% off of 2 orders. In each order, you can order as many individual shed tests as you want. So you get to do it twice, 15%. That's so pretty good savings, man. So stockpile a couple sheds and then send them off to Charlie. And it's that easy. You just go to his website and tell him what you're sending him. You don't have to register with other companies and work through different people. Go right to Charlie. Take care of him. Robbie down in Greer, South Carolina. Robbie, I apologize, man. I was just last week. Well, I'm so tired and out of it. is I just got back from North Carolina. I was just across the state line up in Lake Lure. I didn't have a minute to spare, but one of these times we're going to go have dinner there. But Robbie just texted me today. I'm not ignoring y'all on my phone. I got to get these details right. Everybody's got their hatchlings. Check this out on Morph Market right now at REDLINE Reptiles. Blackhead DG Clown stuff on the Morph Market. And then very specifically, there's actually a Blackhead DG Clown double visual male on Morph Market right now. You can get from Robbie at REDLINE Reptiles. Just saying the words Blackhead DG Clown double visual combo tells you what you need to know about what Robbie's doing and working with. Portuguese pythons. That's Danny and Renee Rocha out in Chino, California. You guys have survived wildfires, heat waves, earthquakes. I think you've had enough. I hope it goes well for you. And I don't mean that's affected them. They've dodged it all. They're doing great. A couple of my favorite people in the industry, very, very supportive, wonderful people. They're working some nice high-end projects as well. I've got 1.3 of a Pied Ultramel combos from them. I know they have a super blackhead Ultramel clutch that hatched recently. And I think it was just today, but maybe it was yesterday, but very, very recently on Instagram, they just unveiled a Het Red Azanthic Ultramel clutch as well that they can start working into other projects. They've got all of those ingredients that they're not holding back that are available. Go check out their Instagram. It's super high quality as far as the production, and then the snakes don't disappoint either. That is Portuguese pythons. Ball Labs, that is Trevor out in Aurora, Colorado. Trevor's working with every gene that he can get his hand on. If there's, he really likes genes that maybe kind of had their heyday and then got a little bit forgotten. And, you know, the truth is now these forgotten genes might have a whole lot of potential to unlock with some of the newest genes that have been discovered. But along with those, Trevor's working with Puzzle, Ultramel Clown, VPI Azanthic, Tri-Stripe, Monsoon, Zebra, and Sunset. That's even if that was all he was working with, that would be phenomenal. Trevor will be vending at the All-American Reptile Plant Expo in Denver on the weekend of the 6th, 2 weeks away. It's coming up soon. I'll be out there. I get to hang out with him again. Good guy doing things the right way. Last but not least is Chris at B and S Reptilia, the original show sponsor of Proper Royals. My current, my only business partner at Tinley. We vend together at the booth there. So come out and see Chris at Tinley with me. That's coming up soon. In the meantime, check out his page. He's got ball pythons, blood pythons, locality, boas, colubrids, pituophis. If pituophis means anything to you, that's the bull snakes, the pine snakes. And until he tells me different, which I'm sure that he won't because he's got his act together, he will have the permits to have bull snakes and pine snakes at Tinley legally displayed. And I think we'll be some of the only vendors in the room that have those. So come by the booth if you want to check those out. And they'll be right next to some ball pythons. You know what I mean? So thank you very, very much to all the sponsors. Thank you to the audience. There's 35 of you that stuck through the promos. That actually means the world to me. Those sponsors truly keep the show going. It takes, like Mike was talking about, it takes a lot of time and prep each week. And I love this. I love this community. But the sponsors are a big, massive part of it too. So thanks very much. Thanks to everybody. If you haven't seen the show before, I hope you consider subscribing and come hang out again. Got Mike from Herp Collectors. Mike's out of Mike, do you claim Gainesville or was it Williston? Where are you at? Like
no, Gainesville.
You're Gainesville, not Williston. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to didn't mean anything by it, man. I thought it was, you know, if you're from Gainesville, if you got a UF flag in your Minnesota basement, you know, these little towns in the surrounding area. I thought you had ties to one of those other smaller towns, but my apologies. No. Mike, not from Williston. Let's get this clear here. So how did how many Daytonas you've been to now? 4 or 5? 5. Okay.
Started in 2020.
From your opinion, and I know everybody's got their own perspective, how is the feel? Like I try and judge shows sometimes, like not only on the people in the door, but like, is there business in the room? Like I've vended at shows. Oh, you vended at a show with me. It had good attendance. There was just no business in the room. And you look around, nobody else was doing business either. So sometimes like it could be a great show for me, or it could be a bad show for me, but I just didn't have what somebody wanted that day, but there was business in the room. And other times it's just like, I don't know. So I know it's Daytona. I mean, I know there was business in the room, but what was your feeling like? How'd it feel compared to past years?
Yeah. Lots of traffic, particularly on Saturday. Like Bob said, Sundays slow down, but that's just kind of the nature of like the weekend shows and folks coming in from all over. It was kind of based on people that I talked to, different people, asking them kind of like a similar question. It was kind of hit or miss, depending on who you asked. Like there were some people like, I had a great show. There were some people I had an okay show. There were some people was like, it sucks. It kind of depends on like who you talk to.
Right.
And also like probably what was on their table versus like what people were looking for. So I think it was hit or miss. And kind of like a diverse experience depending on the breeder, depending on what projects, depending on what they were selling. I know one person did, like he just had like a super negative, and you know this person, I won't say any names, but I don't think you're too excited last time you guys crossed paths, but he just had like a super negative outlook on the whole show.
Oh man, I gotta ask you who this is. There's not a whole lot of super negative people, but I got a short list of a few. Okay.
Yeah, but it's just always just like his standard response about everything. But he's a great guy. It was just pretty funny though.
Yeah. Oh man.
If you ask him, he'll tell you it was terrible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a little bit of you get what you put out there too. Like, if and I have no idea who you're talking about, but I'll take it back to the restaurants. Like, oh, Sunday shifts suck, this and that. And I'm like, well, it could be because you drank a bunch of vodka and slept for 2 hours last night. That could be why Sunday sucks. If you, if you want to get right in there. Oh yeah. Now you're getting, look, man, my rules, no drama, Mike, get out.
No drama. I'm not going to spill it.
I love you to death, but I'll fire you on the spot, man. Like, cut it out, man. I'm trying to think who it was now. Oh man, I got to ask you about this. This is good. And I got to go back to Florida. Like there are a couple people on the Florida circuit that they were, if I were to curse on this show, I would describe them as a very unpleasant body part. But anyway, so there's a few of them, but I mean, maybe I don't know. I really actually don't know who you're talking about, but I'm gonna learn here shortly, or Mike's gonna hold it hostage. He's like, you know what? Never mind. I'm out of here.
So we're gonna put the recorded version of this, or the after show version of this, behind Adam's paywall on Patreon. So y'all make sure y'all join the Proper Royals Patreon so you can hear this.
No, I ain't trying to get lawsuits, man. I made it this far. I don't need it.
Totally kidding.
No, there are days where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going dark. I'm just gonna go. I'm all the pent up everything. I'm just letting it out. That's it. I'm done. I'm gonna do a year of just crashing and burning, and then I'm out of here, man.
Proper Royals After Dark.
That's right. It would be fun if I ever, if I've ever just had enough of it all. That's what I'll do. But no, I'm far from there. So, I'll ask you the same question I asked Matt, and I don't know how much of a chance you had to look around. I mean, I know you were working, and there's a difference between being on and working at a show and going to a show. Even if you're networking, man, when you're on, it's a lot of work. But what were some of the displays that caught your eye? What are are there innovations? Do we need innovations? I saw some clips. Did you see, what was it called? Like Zoo Tech or Zoo Trade, like the big, like pet store convention in Vegas, man, did you see any of those clips from posted on Instagram?
I didn't.
Never mind then. But if you checked out Zoomed had a 2-story lounge for their display. Like, oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that they negotiated like the square footage of an end cap or whatever and said, all right, get rid of everything. But it was, I mean, it had a balcony, go hang out up there and all of that. And I was kind of like, I mean, I'm not going to buy a tiny house and wheel it in or anything, but you could, I guess, there's a price, right? Wayne likes his money just like anybody else does, man. You know, you can call him up, you get the price for it. But like Chris Davenport and Tony's, they got like or they always have. I wasn't there this Daytona, but like the stage rigging set up all around theirs. Anything stand out to you that you hadn't seen before, or that you were just like, wow, that's pretty cool?
I'm sure I missed some stuff just kind of being at my table, like pretty much probably 80% of the time, if not more.
Right.
I did get the chance to walk around like the other room a little bit on Sunday morning. I don't think I even made it to the other room on Saturday, but on Sunday morning I did walk around, and Matt named a lot of the ones that like I would have called out, like Bob and Josh setup. It's always nice. Like they kind of have like their own thing going. Rice Reptiles has like a really nice, sleek setup, some real great branding. Who else? Steve's got nice branding.
Steve did, and his is a recent rebrand, but it's real nice.
Exactly. So that looks really nice. Tony from Hardwired Exotics and like their team, and like I like how they have like a whole team just really like working it together. So they did a really good job.
Did they have their own did they have their coordinated bodysuits again?
They didn't have that this year. Not that I noticed.
Dropping the ball. All right. I gotta talk to Tony about that. What's up with that?
But a nice setup as usual. So that was pretty cool. Who else? I don't know. I can think of anybody like right off the top of my head, but I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, and it's not intentional. It's not because I don't think your setup looked good. There were a lot of good setups.
Gotcha. Well, I was going to ask about the nighttime hangout, but you said
Kittinger's always nice. Kittinger's always nice.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and those are you keep the people you mentioned, like Bob, Tony at Hardwired, Kittinger. They're all right when you walk in, man. So you just pop with. I mean, it's a pretty exciting time too for to walk in and those breeders be right there to greet you as well.
And you know what's interesting is I know for the past several years, I kind of was accustomed to seeing people in like the exact same spots. For the most part, there was a lot of kind of like mixing around this year. There are some people that were traditionally in the larger room that were in the second room, and then vice versa too. And I heard a lot of.
I was going to say, yeah. What did you hear about that, man? Was it positive, negative? What did breeders think of that?
I know Wayne this year was pretty strict in terms of like when people submitted payment. Like if it was like 42 seconds late, then there was no wiggle room. And so I think that might have been something. I'm not 100% certain because I didn't sign up until late, and so I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
But I heard a little bit of feedback here and there, but I did notice that like there were people in the second room that in years past were in the first room. And that might have been why the traffic in the second room was good.
That'll be a benefit in the long run though.
Yeah. But I don't know. Or it could have just been bodies through the door. Cause I think they were like, I don't know. I heard somebody say 10,000 people through the all together through the door. I
believe it. It is the biggest, most massive show. I believe 10 grand in one day, man. It is a massive, massive show. It's a massive venue. I can look. Wayne takes a lot of heat from a lot of people, but man, he's got 700 tables that he's selling in there, and what probably 300-400 vendors at least. I would get. Yeah, I would put it. I'd put the over under at 375 for vendors. I came from a private club, golf club world, and we would have tournaments, and there was X number of space and slots. We only had a certain number of golf carts. You got to get through the tournament in a day, and you had to make a cutoff at some point. We could add a second tournament, but it was going to be a secondary tournament. And at some point, the politics and the money wears out, man. You follow the thing or you don't. And that's where it goes. I remember a situation where the board president was like, well, you can get me in. And I'm like, I can't get you in. There's no getting you in. These are paid. That's the space. If somebody drops out, I'll let you know and I'll call you. I'll be glad to, but I can't get you in. And I'm sure Wayne deals with that like crazy. I don't know him personally. He was fine to me. I've vended Daytona 2 years. So, I mean, he took care of me, but I can only imagine what that's like, coordinating all those egos and that politics, man.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot to deal with. I've heard like several stories about Wayne. My personal experience with Wayne was a good one, to be honest. I mean, he's himself, like he's like his own kind of character.
Yeah.
But as far as like working with him and him walking me through the process and kind of like giving me like heads up about things and tips and kind of like talking through, because I called him before like I signed up to do it, right? I said, hey, this is what I want to do. I know it's fairly late in the game, but this is what I'm thinking about doing. Do you think this would work for the show? And so we talked for probably 40 minutes, and like he was just like, I've worked with people like Wayne before. Like he reminds me of my my general manager at Texas Roadhouse, like just like this old school. Always got like these sayings and stuff like this, quick flips and stuff like this, and so I'm used. I deal with like all kinds of people, and you've done it too, like working in restaurants and just throughout life. And so it went well for me. We talked on the phone like a number of times, and I didn't have any issues.
I was gonna say I've never had an issue. One thing that I always doesn't matter what company it is, if the person is the one that answers the phone and spends time with the customer, I find it incredibly impressive. And the bigger the operation is, I'm even more impressed. It's why I say that about Charlie on shedtesting.com every time. He's the guy. You're going to get in touch with him. But honestly, Wayne was the same way. Adam, he wanted a paper check, but he called me when he got, Adam, I got your paper check. You're in, you're taken care of. Let me know how, like that's, at the end of the day, that stuff matters. And he does that well. Again, I've heard all kinds of other opinions. I can only speak of my own experiences, but it was good. And look, Daytona is not an icon for nothing. It's arguably the one or two. Like there's only two names that fit into that category, and that's Daytona and Tinley, man. So, anyway,
he was like, call me anytime as long as it's daytime.
Yeah.
As long as the sun's out, you can call me.
Yeah. And he is working the show. Yeah. Everybody says, oh, Wayne's a stickler. He won't let you in. You know why he won't let you in? Because he's standing in front of the doors himself, not letting you in. He's, so yeah, no complaints on that. So, well, Mike, I want to say thanks for being on the show. Thanks for doing this. You worked your butt off all weekend. You got a bunch coming up. You got your own shows, 2 now to do. So you're a busy guy. You still have a career as well, which is a lot. So, man, I'm really, like I said, I'm really thankful we're both sitting here together, friends, literally years later. And I miss seeing you on the Florida circuit, man. I got to get back down there sometime. That's on me, but I miss it. And thanks for being here tonight. You got your, you called it a 5-show tour, but and we talked all about the podcast, but you do some breeding. You got stuff available. You out on Morph Market and Instagram and doing your thing on snakes right now, or what?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right now, my season's fairly slow. Wow, we've been on this podcast this whole time, and I don't think I've mentioned like any of my snakes.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I do have snakes, though.
All right.
But yeah, my season's pretty slow this year. All my stuff is gonna go late. I do have 2 clutches in the incubator. I'm waiting on one girl to lay like any day now. Like, in fact, one of the first things that I'll do once we wrap this up is go check and see if she's laid. And then I've got like 3, maybe 4 more girls that'll be giving me some clutches in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then some other girls I'm still waiting on to see like how they fare for the year. Like I said, most of my stuff is going to be really late. I'll probably have a good handful of clutches, maybe 25% of what I get that either hatches in like December-ish or something like that, or maybe even crosses over that 2024, 2025 threshold.
Right. Yeah, I kind of like those spread out though. It's nice to it spreads out the work, but it also it's like a hedge against the market. When everybody's like got all their hatchlings in October hitting the market, the prices fall because the market's flooded. But if you can come in January, February with some hatchlings, man, you get a little. I found I get a little more control over what I can, what pricing I want to demand on moving stuff. So I kind of like that quite a lot. So, well, Mike, stick around for just a moment because we have some business we got to catch up on here.
All right.
All right, guys, come back next week. I will. I promise my life will settle down and I'll be a little more well planned. Oh, and thanks again, Mike, for taking this on short notice. So
thanks for having me, bro.
Oh, my pleasure. I'll see you guys soon. I'll be in Des Moines on Sunday vending. Any vendors that are going to be there Saturday night, I actually could hang out. I'll be staying that evening. So I hope to see y'all out on the road. Thanks again, audience. Take care. Mike, take care. And like I said, hang out for just a second. See everybody soon. Good night, everybody.